Welcome back to The Person Everyone Needs. I am Webb Hoggard, and today we're going to be talking about what I think is a key to succeeding in life. I want to give you some good news. I'm thinking in the next few weeks we might go to a video podcast format. If that in any way you think that would probably be beneficial or it would encourage you some in listening, if you've got a way of reaching out, PastorWebb55@gmail.com. If you would just like to let us know that you think that would be a positive in helping us get the content out, or that would be an encouragement to you somehow, then please let us know. As we're planning to do this, we want to make sure that this is as useful as possible for everyone listening. But today I want to talk to you about one of the ways that I have seen, and I've just kind of recently discovered this as a contributor to getting to the dreams that you want to see accomplished in your life. And so today, without further ado, I would like to talk to you today about showing up. Recently, I've been asked by a group of people. I was putting together a group of leaders, and I wanted them to start considering some leadership ideas and how we can make better things in our organization as we look forward to multiplying and doing greater things. And I was telling them, you've got to identify leaders. You've got to train them up. In the church world, it's called discipleship. But like the idea is, you've got to multiply yourself, and you've got to see potential in others. And so the question came up, well, Webb, what do you look for when you look for teammates? And so I've been kind of chewing on that for the last couple of weeks because, it's something that I'm perhaps maybe gifted at this point, or maybe I've just failed so many times I kind of notice. Anyway, so I was telling them, I took about a week to think about it, but the superpower of getting to becoming the person that you want to be is that you need to be around the kinds of people that are doing the things you want to do. So we've got a plan to add some things to our church, and I was reaching out to a friend of mine about what we need to do, and he said, you need to get around people, another church that's already done this. You need to get that mindset. So what's one of the most important mindsets to have? You have to be exposed to the thing that you want to accomplish. Well, if you want to be known, or perhaps even have a future political office, then it wouldn't hurt you to go to some council meetings and bring them some water and some snacks so that they remember what your name is. If you'd like to have first responders to know who you are and to know how grateful you are for them, then I know a few years ago, my church started taking Gatorade and donuts and that kind of thing to the firehouse for their meetings. We just began to show up, and now there's a better relationship than there was a few years ago. I asked the sheriff, was there any way I could help? And he said, well, if you'd make yourself available to the people at my precinct, then they would know where to go when they need someone to talk to. And so I just showed up, and that's all I'm doing right now. I haven't really met anyone. I haven't gotten any deep, no life-changing things, but I'm showing up because I want them to know that if they need something, there's someone they can reach out to. Now, so you're saying, well, are you saying that there's never any fruit? No, that's not the truth, because I know some folks that went off to college to be big, bad preachers, and then when nobody called, they came to their home church expecting the home church to swing the doors of opportunity wide open, but they didn't want to show up. They just wanted to be recognized as something, but they didn't just show up. They didn't prove that they were going to be consistent. And over time, no matter what credentials you have, it's going to fizzle out if you don't just show up. In fact, I'm just going to tell you right now, if you think that there's a piece of paper that's going to validate your existence in a room, you might want to go ahead and begin to sharpen your people skills, because putting MD or putting a PhD behind your name, going and getting a master's degree, going to get all the credentials and ordinations, there might be some rooms that you're allowed to walk into, but you are never going to take that stage if you haven't learned how to connect and be where you need to be when you need it most. So one of the things that was hitting me as these people were asking, Webb, what do you look for? Well, I look for the people who were already showing up, that are not waiting for a platform before they're going to be faithful, that are not looking for a stage before they're showing me that they're going to stay. I used to say it this way: don't look to pick up a microphone before you pick up a broom. I have read it 1,000 times in leadership books, but I'm just starting to realize in my own life that it's true. When I go to look for teammates, I look for character. I'm not looking for personality, and I'm not looking for giftings. I'm looking for character. I'm looking for the kinds of things that everybody can do, but only a few people actually do. So what are some of those things? One of those things is showing up. That's something that everybody can do. You can show up. You can be, here's another, you can be on time. You know what? That is a superpower in the day that we live right now. Everybody thinks that everything's so casual and I'll get there and you should be lucky to have me. Showing up and being on time are character things that anybody can do. People with zero talent, none, with a terrible personality, they can show up and be on time. Here's something else you can control: your work ethic. You can't control anybody else's, but you can decide that you're going to be the hardest worker. Don't base the way or the amount that you're going to work on what others are doing. Decide for yourself, I'm going to work. I'm going to work hard. Your effort, your body language. Hey, here's one. Your smile. You control the smile on your face. Well, Webb, I have a bad resting face. You don't get to decide that this is just the way I am and this is the way I'm going to be. You're the one who decides what your body language is. Are you welcoming? Are you open? Are you kind? So these are some things that you can do that it's not important to even have giftings or personality. You control your attitude, your passion, doing extra. You're the one who decides whether or not you'll do more than what is required for you to do. And by doing more, it gives you more opportunity to be seen. You get to decide whether you're going to be prepared for whatever's coming ahead. You decide how much energy, and here's the last one. Okay, so here's the other thing I look for. First of all, I look for character. The second thing, in their character, the most important thing to me are the top two. Number one, do you show up on time? When I ask you to be wherever you're supposed to be, do you show up? And the second thing is, are you coachable? Am I able to say to you, I don't know, can you tweak it this way? Can you go this direction? Now, you may say, well, Webb, I don't really care to impress you. Hey, I get it, loud and clear, right? But I'm going to go out on a limb here and tell you that every position that you are hoping to acquire, this is exactly what they're looking for too. Yes, you might have to get a master's degree to get in the door, but the only way to get influence is to be a person of character who handles the things that they can handle. And I told somebody recently, this is the superpower. I can find another singer. I can find another person who can talk in a microphone. The person who is willing to show up day in and day out, no matter what, and a person of their word, that's the superpower that every good leader needs. Now, one of the things that you can also control is your mindset. So I want to give you one more thought today before I close. I was telling you that one of the best ways to make sure that you get to your dreams is to show up. So maybe you need to decide that there's some rooms you need to start knocking on to just say, hey, I wanted to say good morning today, to let them know that you exist. Maybe there's some text messages you need to start sending. Hey, I had you on my mind. I just wanted you to know that I'm praying for this here or the other. Maybe there's some dreams you need to open up about and let some other people hear and see and trust that God's moving in your life. Today, maybe there's a promotion that you're hoping to get, but nobody believes that you're wanting it because you're so humble or you're so focused or whatever. So be willing to say, hey, what does it take for me to get to that position? I'm not saying that you have to work the room to get what you want, but go ahead and be open and honest about the direction that you're trying to go and then walk that direction. So show up and have character. Now, here's the other thing I want to tell you. Your mindset is going to set you apart. So I always want to encourage people to have a positive mindset. Be optimistic. Believe that there's an opportunity ahead. My wife actually told me of a story recently of two boys that were in the same family, and one boy was an optimist, the other one was a pessimist. And the mom was trying to get that fixed, and so one year for their birthdays, they were twins, and one year for their birthdays, she bought the pessimist, she bought him a brand new bicycle. And when she gave it to him, he was like, you know what? This just serves me right. The moment I get on that thing, I'm going to fall off it and I'm going to scratch it. I'm not going to be able to keep this thing new for no time. And the optimist, she had wrapped a box of manure, let's say it that way, a box of manure. And as he opened it, he just squealed with glee. And she was like, how in the world can you be happy about that? He said, well, wherever there's this much droppings, there's a pony somewhere. And I know I got a pony for my birthday. So the point is, handle your mindset. Well, what's one of the mindsets that you need to have? Positivity, yes, but here's another one. Know that there's always a solution. Half of the battle is deciding that I'm going to figure this out until I figure it out. I'm going to figure it out. I'm not going to throw up the white flag. I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to say this is too hard. I'm going to say, hey, I'm going to keep working at this until I figure it out. So, these are just some things that anybody can accomplish. These are not magnificent, but I'm going to tell you, for those that you would like to get their attention, these are the things that we see as superpowers. A mindset that says we can and not we can't, that can change anything. And people who show up in your life whenever they are that you need them the most, those are the people that everyone needs.